And coming up on Mountain News this morning, the impacts of a destructive storm brew up some tornadoes here in the Commonwealth. And as Colorado weather makes colder weather makes its way back to us, crews are asking you to make sure your home is prepared for the chill.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
6:01 here. I'm Dakota Makris. Thankfully, it's Friday. Colorado weather. What was I thinking? I don't know, but we're going to talk about some Kentucky weather, Eastern Kentucky weather with Brandon this morning. And evidently, I missed out on the snow tie this morning.
Oh,
snow.
yeah.
You didn't tell me that you were going to wear something a little bit festive this morning.
What is it? Dress for the weather?
Yeah, and you didn't tell me what you were doing. So now
I didn't think I had to coordinate, our outfits.
As you should. You should. Well, moving forward, we've learned our lesson.
Okay, moving forward, I'll call you every morning and say what you're going to,
Don't call me. You can text me.
All right, let's talk about this forecast today. So if you do like a little bit of snow, you'll see some fly, maybe not too much sticking, especially in the lower elevations. Let's take a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar. We're looking at, again, just a little bit of snow transition going on near the Kentucky-Virginia border, but there's not a lot of moisture just yet. So again, be careful if you're crossing Jenkins Mountain into Wise County, if you're crossing Black Mountain into Wise County, across into Southwest Virginia, if you're crossing Pine Mountain there from basically the Harlan County side toward Whitesburg, and then if you're crossing, let's see here, I don't think there's too much going on at Pine Mountain right now on the Leslie County side, so we'll kind of keep an eye on that. Not a whole lot of moisture, but just be careful in the higher elevation this morning. Be careful everywhere. Pine Mountain here, our camera up there, not looking at a whole bad. This is on the Letcher County side. That we also call this Whitesburg Mountain, so a little fog up there this morning, so just be careful if you're traveling across that mountain. Temperatures 34 Clintwood, 32 in Wise, 34 in Logan, 34 in Hazard, 35 in Jackson. The ones I just named off are the ones that are cold enough for the transition to happen. Everybody else still too warm for the moment. So a little normal day, a little extra if you're a little bit on the colder side out there this morning, but we got to have more moisture if we want to see some snow. Temperatures will slowly drop throughout the day into the basically stabilizing in the mid-30s there for most of the day, and then dropping as we get past nighttime. And I think we'll drop into the mid to upper 20s overnight. Dakota?
All right, Brendan, thank you. This morning, parts of the southern U.S. are starting to sift through the wreckage of a deadly bout of tornadoes. Historic Selma, Alabama, taking one of the hardest hits. At least 7 deaths are being blamed on the storm, while out west, people are trying to dry out and repair before another round of wet weather dumps even more rain on waterlogged communities. Jared Hill has the latest from New York.
Oh my God.
Selma, Alabama, smack dab in the middle of a line of more than 30 suspected deadly tornadoes that ripped through the South Thursday.
They tore off the chimney, flipped the car. I mean, it's bad down here, like Louisiana. It's bad.
Dozens of homes and buildings, now piles of rubble and mangled metal. One twister pulling the roof off a small-town medical center.
Unfortunately, that's the area where most of our patients are.
Ominous clouds floated over Atlanta, where a tornado delayed multiple flights. Tornado sirens blared in central Kentucky. The sweeping storms in the south come as the weary, already drenched West Coast prepares for even more rain.
The stress is draining.
Weeks of water have left fields and neighborhoods flooded. In Northern California, a woman's body found in a submerged car. Near the town of Spreckles, south of San Francisco, the Salinas River could crest at 25 feet by this morning. It was at 6 feet just a week ago.
And I think our public forgets that, how dangerous the Salinas River actually can be.
More intense storms are predicted for California starting this weekend and aren't expected to lift until later next week. Jared Hill, CBS News.
At least 18 deaths are being attributed to the storms of California since they started the final week of 2022. Well, at least 4 tornadoes hit central and northern Kentucky on Thursday. AF1 tornadoes were confirmed in Mercer, Bull, Grant, and Henry counties. Well, here's a look at the damage over in Mercer County. No one was hurt, but the cleanup and repair will take a while. The National Weather Service says this was the result of an EF1 tornado. Renadine says she and her son and their dog sought shelter in a bathroom once they heard the warnings.
It's overwhelming regardless of what this happens, but then when you see all the people that come to help and jump in and bring food and totes and boxes and just automatically start packing up your stuff so that it doesn't get ruined. It means a lot.
Well, the latest update from utility companies shows nearly all the people who lost power in Mercer County have it back now. In Madison County, multiple areas were dealt damage, including areas within the city of Richmond. For the Horn family and their neighbors on the Lake Ridge Drive, the weather hit very close to home. Carla Horn was working from home when the situation suddenly turned severe. Well, they say trees went down throughout the neighborhood. One of their glass tables shattered, and her daughter's new car was flipped on its side.
You'd never think that it's going to happen to you, and we are very fortunate. We had candles ready, we had the matches ready, we had a generator, we had flashlights that had batteries. Just be prepared because you don't know if it's ever going to happen to you.
Eastern Kentucky University says the storm also caused some issues at its golf club. University leaders say the club at Arlington saw several trees down and damage was dealt to the club at Pool House. The National Weather Service says it plans to survey the damage. Well, as colder weather now heads back into the region, it's important to make sure you have taken precautions to winterize your home. Hyman Volunteer Fire Chief Preston Hayes says the last cold snap they saw an increase in frozen pipes, which could lead to a fire if not thawed properly.
If you use a hairdryer and you attend to it, that's perfectly fine, but in the past there's been instances where people try to use torches and things like that to thaw their water lines, and unfortunately they set their house on fire.
Well, he also says it's important to have an alternative heating solution in case the power goes out. Blankets and flashlights are also important to have on hand. The combination of winter weather and cold and flu season is wreaking havoc on blood supplies across the U.S. The American Red Cross says without some blood drives, it has lost the chance to get more than 10,000 units of blood. To avoid a blood shortage, the Red Cross is urging those who are eligible to roll up their sleeves.
We are always in need of O negative, which is the universal blood type, and O positive, which is nearly universal. We absolutely will welcome anybody who can come in to donate. 40% of the population is eligible to donate, and only 3% do. So we're really asking people to come out, make an appointment to donate so that we can keep the supply strong.
Even if you have recently gotten vaccinated, doctors say there's no waiting period. You can donate anytime as long as you are healthy and feeling well.
.08 on this Friday morning. We're still in our first alert weather day coverage because we still have some active weather. Today it is rain changing over to snow as temperatures drop. Let's take a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar. Now, if you just look at this right now, you're thinking, oh, okay, there's a lot of snow out there right now. Not really. It's up in the atmosphere because it's always colder up in the atmosphere, but there's not a whole lot of moisture here yet. We'll get some more later today off of the Great Lakes. This is going to come in waves throughout the daytime hours. Temperatures that are cold enough right now: Hazard, Jackson, Clintwood, Logan, and Wise. Everybody else 35 or above 35, and that includes most of the rest of the region, but they're still dropping. So that's if you like snow, I guess that's hopeful for you, but lower elevations not expected to get a whole lot in general, so just kind of keep that in mind. Statewide, we're in the 30s everywhere except for Southwest Virginia, East Tennessee, there 41, Knoxville, and the Tri-Cities this morning. Day planner, back and forth waves of wintry mix, snow all the way into the afternoon hours, and temperatures should get closer to freezing as we head toward nighttime. Dakota?
Brandon, thank you so much. Well, coming up, a special counsel begins its investigation into President Joe Biden's handling of classified material after documents were found in several locations.